allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, can we please have a roll call?
Councilwoman Miriam Cohen. Councilman Charles DePiero.
Here.
Councilman Terrence Van Zora. Let the record show that Councilman Van Zora is absent this evening. Council Vice President Michael Markell.
Here.
And Council President Rupa P. Siegel.
Here. Clerk, can you please read item 4?
In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, it is hereby announced and shall be entered into the minutes of this meeting that adequate notice has been provided by the following. Posted on the bulletin boards within the municipal building on December 26, 2025, and remains posted at that location for public inspection. 2, printed in the Home News Tribune and the Cranberry Press on December 26, 2025. 3, posted on the Monroe Township website, and 4, sent to those individuals who have requested personal notice. In accordance with Chapter 3, Section 17 of the Monroe Township Code, public comment shall be limited to 5 minutes unless further time is granted by the Council President.
Thank you. Moving on to item 5, proclamations and presentations. We have a presentation this evening. I'm going to turn the meeting over to Mayor Delina.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Madam Council President. It's with great distinction that we come together again as a community to congratulate this young man here on his retirement. And Tony, you've done so many beautiful things here for the township. It's only apropos that we do come together, your colleagues here at the police station, our chief, to come and recognize who you are, what you've done, and all our wishes for you to continue that beautiful life. With that being said, I'm going to, first of all, just read this, and then I'm going to ask the chief to come up to wax poetic about you. Congratulations on your retirement. With great appreciation of 25 years of dedication and commitment. Thank you for going above and beyond, serving the citizens of the Township of Monroe. Wishing you the best in your adventure with much respect and gratitude. On behalf of the council, the proud mayor of Monroe Township, today, January, the date of your retirement, January 31st, 2026. This will be here for you, but at this point, I'd love to call up our chief to say some very good words about you.
Thank you. Tony started here 25 years ago, before I started, and the building's always been kept immaculate. I'm going to miss you, man. You've become a friend to me. Someone I go and talk to, come to my office. You're always making sure that everyone in the building has what they need, and it's been recognized and greatly appreciated. You're a great human, man. You're really a good guy. For those of you who don't know, Tony's a mechanical genius. So I was pretty new at the PD, and I saw him taking apart like a fan in like the bathroom. And next thing I know, he's got parts of the motor all laid out on the floor. And 10 minutes later, the thing's working again, probably better than it did when it was new. And then over the years, I noticed that happened like once a month. He kept fixing stuff, and we're gonna miss that. We'll never have that back, I don't think. But I hope, as a friend, that you have a great retirement with your family. You get to do the things you want to do, and I'm gonna have to find someone else to joke with about changing brakes and oil changes. Because I'm sure since you've retired, it's only been about 5 days, so you've probably done about 5 oil changes, changed the brakes on about 17 cars. So I hope you get to do that stuff in retirement, and maybe get a new set of tools as a retirement gift. We're gonna miss you. All right.
Let's hear it for Tony.
Congratulations, Tony, for your 25 years. We wish you all the best on your retirement and on this next chapter. So we're going to take a 5-minute break in a couple minutes. We're going to go through the proclamations, and then we'll take a break so we can take some pictures. We have 2 proclamations on the agenda tonight: American Heart Month, February 2026, and we're proclaiming February 25th, 2026, the official celebration of Bernice Miller's 103rd birthday. So at this time, for her, she's not here this evening. But at this time, we will take a 5-minute recess so we can take some pictures. Thank you. Call our meeting back to order. At this time, we're going to move to item 6, public hearing application for Green Acres funding at the February 9, 2026 regular meeting, Phase 1, North Disbrow Hill Road Playground and Parking Lot. We'll move on to item 7. Clerk, can you please read item 7?
Ordinances for second reading at the February 9, 2026 regular meeting. Ordinance 01-2026-001. Supervisory Personnel 2026 Salary and Wage Ordinance for Monroe Township, Middlesex County.
Thank you. And clerk, can you please read item 8 as well?
Ordinances for first reading at the February 9, 2026 regular meeting. Ordinance 02-2026-002. Ordinance approving the traffic signal improvements for Applegarth Road and Joan Warren Way. Ordinance 02-2026-003. Ordinance amending Chapter 108 of the Monroe Township Code, rezoning of parcels included in Monroe Township's Round 4 Affordable Housing Plan. Ordinance 02-2026-004. Ordinance amending Chapter 108, Article 6.18J13 of the HD Highway Development District and Article 6.7K of the R3A Residential Agricultural District. Ordinance 02-2026-005. Ordinance to repeal and replace Section 131 Affordable Housing and Section 131A Affordable Housing Development Fees with revised regulations in conformance with the amended Fair Housing Act.
Thank you. And clerk, can you please read item 9?
Resolutions for consideration under the consent agenda at the February 9th, 2026 regular meeting is R2-2026-031 through R2-2026-055.
Thank you. Council members, please review the resolutions. Does anyone have any resolutions that need to be removed from the agenda?
Council President, I do.
Thank you.
You're welcome. R2 2026-042. R2 2026-044. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item 10, public comments. Limited to agenda items only, 5 minutes per speaker. May I have a motion to open? Thank you. Second? Thank you. So agenda items only, 5 minutes per speaker. Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Council President. George Gunkelman, 5 Kelly Court, Monroe. In the consent agenda, item 036, parking lot professional services. Where is this parking lot going to be expanded? I'm familiar with the site, but I didn't know we had surplus land hanging around there to get utilized.
Council President, yes, this was 036, you said?
Yes.
Sure, so that's
Parking lot at the community center.
that's a parking lot expansion at the community center. So behind the rink that's there,
Yeah.
there'll be an expansion of the parking lot. There'll also be a loop road that'll loop around the rink and come out onto Monmouth Road. So there'll be another access point on Monmouth Road on the south side of the rink.
Do we know yet how many additional spaces it will render?
I did have that number, and I believe it's in the 70 spaces range.
Yeah. Thank you. The second question I had is 041, appointment of humane enforcement officers. What is the role of humane enforcement officers?
Mr. McGowan?
Sure, Council President. So these are 4 officers from our police department who will be designated to handle situations of animal abuse and to be able to investigate and make those charges.
Okay. I have one more question. Well, I'll do it now. There's item 050 and 051. I have nothing about the specific items, but it triggers in my mind, all the costs of these things, particularly for the MTUD, are going up enormously. Maybe it's the right time to review our fee structure for new construction to make sure that they're carrying their fair share of this increased load that we're starting to experience. So everything seems to be going up, and utility costs for them as well. And I'm not sure that our fee structure reflects some of these increased costs. So it's just, no one needs to respond to that. It's just a suggestion. Look at it and see if we're on the schedule we want to be on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Lucille Pano, 1208 C. Lindera Plaza. Well, George, some of my questions. Okay, so I do 2026003. Could you explain where and why that is necessary? 2026036. You indicated possible 70 parking spots. How many of those will be handicapped? In the municipal, wherever that is. And then 043. What does that entail? $200,000 for a garden?
Yeah, Council President, with regard to this parking space, I don't have the conceptual layout. We do have conceptual layout. We'll be providing the required ADA number of parking stalls based on the total parking for the community center.
Council President, on Ordinance 003, this is a rezoning ordinance that effectuates the township's Round 4 Affordable Housing Plan that was passed and approved by this council at the end of last year. This puts the particular zoning regulations in place for 4 sites so that we meet our obligations under that Affordable Housing Plan.
And where are those sites?
Council President, we have one site at Buckaloo Avenue across from the main entrance of Regency. That'll be a senior community. We have another site for 100% affordable housing at 319 Spotswood Gravel Hill Road, which is the old Meadowview facility. That's being rezoned here. There's another piece of property on the southeast side of town on the border with Manalapan that will be an inclusionary affordable housing project. And as we came to an agreement with the site on the southwestern side of town next to East Windsor, which is sometimes referred to as the Bald Eagle site, we are permitting them under our Round 4 plan to build an inclusionary development much less intense than the one they had proposed years ago, but still we need to change some of the zoning regulations on that.
From what to what? Well, this, Council President, from what to what? They're changing it from what to affordable housing? What was it?
Mr. McGowan.
Sure, these were all single-family residential districts with the exception of what we call the Bald Eagle site that was an affordable housing zone called the VC2, Village Center 2. So that'll remain an affordable housing zone. The other 3 sites are being zoned from single-family residential to a higher density residential to meet our affordable housing obligation.
And that was that all approved by the zoning planning or whatever? Was it already approved by them?
Yes. It's part of a housing element and fair share plan.
And it went before the zoning, zoning board?
So it was approved by council. It was because we approved the settlement. The housing element and the fair share plan gets adopted by the planning board and then the council endorses it. But these are the zoning ordinances that put that into effect.
That will go from single family to multiple affordable housing. So
correct. That's what this ordinance does.
Thank you.
You're
and the last, the garden, 043.
Sure, Council President. The Community Garden Project, we got a Green Acres grant for it in the 2024 round of Green Acres. It is almost finished with design, going out to bid hopefully this spring, and this will put additional soft cost in place for going out to bid and for construction management of the project.
What was the grant for? How much was the grant?
Council President, $1.2 million.
Thank you.
So out of the $1.2 million, they're only going to spend $200,000.
Mr. McGowan.
Council President, the total cost of the project, I want to say, Mr. Razamotes can help me, is probably $2.3 million with soft and hard costs. So the grant from Green Acres doesn't cover the entire project, doesn't for anybody, any applicant throughout the state. It's a shared financing, and this is toward the soft cost of that project.
Okay, I'm not sure what soft is. Is that like
Engineering costs, design costs, those kind of things, not construction.
I thought since it was a garden, it might be potting soil. But thank you.
No,
Thank you.
soft though. That's a good point.
Good evening, Michelle Arminio, 9 Nathaniel Street. In the resolution 037, it says there are a couple numbers. There's $1 million. So the estimated total cost of the North Disbrow Hill Road playground and parking lot is $1,876,000, and we're going for funding for $938,000 from the grant. Is that correct? From the Green Acres program?
50%. Right.
50%.
50%. Yeah.
And we have to put in the rest?
Correct.
Okay, so it says the cost of which, okay, I put that in. So Monroe Township is putting in the rest of the money, or are we getting some money from the developers? Because there was a deal made, right, for this project?
Council President, we're applying for some additional grant funding to try to make up the rest. There's another resolution on tonight's agenda to apply to what's called the Local Recreation Improvement Grant, the DCA. It's a much smaller amount of money, but we're trying to chip away at every potential piece of grant funding that we can.
Thank you.
But the question was, are we getting any input from the developers? I know you can't demand it on an application, but we can always ask. Has it been asked that they contribute a little bit more for this? They're getting some consideration on the other side of town. I think Mr. McGowan mentioned in terms of affordable housing and development. And also, I think a couple deals were made about somebody's paying somebody for the land.
So this was, just to put it in context, so this was part of the settlement that stopped the warehouse on one portion, right? This is the other side of North Disbrow Road. This is the part that we're actually buying. We also got 44 acres of open space that were given to us for free. So we're buying this land and building a park on it. We're getting a grant from Green Acres for $900,000. The warehouse got stopped, and the affordable housing development that's going to go there is going to have a 30% set aside.
Okay, and you said
that was all part of it.
We're buying it. How much was that?
The ultimate purchase price was $2,450,000.
Correct. Which was approved by council last year.
Which was approved by council last year. Yes, ma'am.
Things happen so rapidly in this town. Sometimes it's tough. Okay, 031, the resolution 031, appointing members to the first alternate representative to the South Central Middlesex County Flood Control Commission. Are these volunteer positions, or is there payment? Are they paid positions?
Mr. McGowan?
Council President, there's no additional compensation for Mr. Razamotes and myself to be Monroe's representatives to that organization.
Well, then I thank you for your time.
You're very welcome.
Mr. Razamotes, you too. Thank you. Let's see. I think I have one more for now. And since I can't find it, I think I will finish. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public?
Hello, Dennis Slew, 31 Beechwood Drive, Monroe Township. Yeah, I'm really just here as a homeowner. Just wanted to kind of express some gratitude because I'm one of the homes that's directly behind where the warehouse was going to be built, where the park is going to be built. So I was just really here to kind of express thanks, to kind of listen in on what the process is. My question, I guess, is what is the process of the kind of explaining what it is? Are you guys just talking about the grant itself, or is there going to be more discussions about the park?
So, Council President, there will be later during this meeting. During the regular meeting, there'll be a public hearing where Mr. Razumowitz will get to explain our ideas and concept and cost estimate for the park that we're envisioning. It's a requirement of Green Acres to do that at a public meeting. And so there'll be an opportunity to hear and see, and there's some handouts in the back, to see what the concept is for this phase 1 of this project, and to ask some questions. So you'll have another opportunity once you hear from Mr. Razumowitz about the project.
All right, great. Thank you.
Any other members of the public wishing to speak? Seeing none, may I have a motion to close public comments? May I have a second? Second. Thank you. Moving on to meeting adjournment. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Cohen? Councilman DePiero?
Yes.
Council Vice President Markell? Council President Siegel?
Yes. Time?
6:57.
Thank you. Moving on to our regular meeting, calling our regular meeting to order. May I have a motion to open our meeting? Second, please.
Second.
May I have a Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Cohen? Councilman DePiero?
Yes.
Council Vice President Markell?
Yes.
Council President Siegel?
Yes. Moving on to item 2, motion to approve the payment of claims per run date February 4th, 2026. May I have a motion, please?
Council President, I had a couple questions about the bill list, if I may.
Sure.
I was reviewing some of the purchase orders, and I want to thank the Treasurer's Department for providing me with purchase orders. And there was one in particular that caught my eye. There was a purchase made of 5,000 pencils from 4 Imprint for $7,771, and I just don't know who authorizes these purchases of 5,000 pencils. I have the purchase order if you need it.
Council President?
Sure.
I just wanted to explain the purchasing process. So initially, the departments put in a requisition. The requisition is then first approved by a department head after review. Then it's second approved by our purchasing agent, who verifies all the purchasing, whether it needs a quote or through state contract or a co-op. Then after that, it's reviewed by the business administrator and approved, and then it's printed and I sign it before it goes out. That's the process.
Great. Thank you.
And Council President, I think these are, this is from the Cultural Arts Commission, who put in this requisition, and I believe they give it out at various events throughout the year.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. There's another one, which is a deposit, which I didn't think we can give deposits. It says 20% deposit from it's Open Sky Productions for 20%. It's a $3,000 deposit, which I didn't think we can give deposits for.
Ms. Ola.
Sorry.
So with certain programs, Council President, certain programs through concerts or any of different event venues, there are deposits required. And in that instance, we are allowed to give deposits, and then they're taken off the final cost. But in order to hold it, sometimes that's the only way, especially for the events for the seniors or transportation that are, I'm not sure if that's the one you're looking at, but that's the one that we're allowed to do that for that circumstance.
So, Council President, this is for the 250th anniversary festivities. We're doing a little more than normal this year for obvious reasons. Much like fireworks, sometimes these companies require a deposit, whether you're a municipality or not. This is for a drone show that the Recreation Department is planning for that week, in addition to the fireworks.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So we were at, we're going to make a motion to approve the claims per run date February 4th, 2026. May I have a motion? Second, please. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Cohen. Councilman DePiero.
No.
Council Vice President Markell. Council President Siegel.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Clerk, can you please read item 3, approval of the minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes of the following meetings as written and presented. December 22nd, 2025, agenda and regular combined meeting. January 5th, 2026, reorganization agenda and regular combined meeting.
May I have a motion, please? Second, please.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Cohen. Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Council Vice President Markell. Council President Siegel.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Clerk, can you please read item 4?
Public hearing, application for Green Acres funding for Phase 1 North Disbrow Hill Road Playground and Parking Lot.
May I have a motion to open the public hearing? Second, please.
Second.
Thank you. Again, 5 minutes per speaker. Please state your name and address for the record for those who would like to speak.
Sorry, Council President, could we just ask Mr. Razumowitz to
I'm
summarize
sorry,
the
Mr.
application? Thanks.
I'm sorry.
No problem. Thank you, Council President. This is the piece of property is Block 2, Lot 1, known as 80 North Disbrow Hill Road in Monroe Township. It's a approximately 21-acre parcel near the intersection of Butcher Road and North Disbrow Hill. Real quickly, we're proposing to construct a new park at this location. The park would include a completely inclusive playground. It meets all the DCA and completely inclusive playground requirements, as well as parking spaces for the vehicles, walking paths as well. Additionally, there'll be a stormwater basin and some sidewalks in that area. We're also looking at, though this is pertaining to just what we would call a phase 1. In the future, any future phasing for development, we would look to do possibly sports fields, but there would be some permitting that would be required. So we're looking at that as a phase 2. With this phase, there's no NJDEP permits required for this phasing. Sorry. With that said, in 2022, the township underwent the master plan revisions, and under the open space and recreation element, the feedback we got from the residents were looking for recreation in this southwest corner of the township, and this was a property that was targeted for the recreation. And as I said, this would be the first phase. We're submitting for a Green Acres grant application. The grant provides up to a 50% match, and our estimated cost was $1,876,000. So the grant request is $938,000. And that pretty much sums it up. The council has a sketch of what we put together as a concept, and I'm open to any questions council or public may have.
Okay, I'm open to the public. If anyone would like to come up and speak, 5 minutes per speaker. And please state your name and address for the record.
Still Dennis Liu, 31 Beechwood Drive, Monroe Township. No, this is a really nice looking park. My question is, what is the exact timeline for phase 1? And then is there any consideration for a sidewalk along Disbrow Road, as that's just both very narrow kind of one-lane roads?
Mr. Razumowitz?
Thank you, Council President. The actual timeline, there's parts that are out of the township's control. We have to submit the Green Acres once we get a design put together, and then there's a whole approval process that goes through with Green Acres before we can go out to bid. Just given our past experience with Green Acres, that had taken several months. I think in the neighborhood of 9 months for the last Green Acres application. So this is a project that is more like 2027 getting constructed. As far as sidewalk, we do have conceptually proposed sidewalk on North Disbrow Hill. There are some environmentally sensitive areas near the corner of Butcher Road and North Disbrow Hill. So currently this plan doesn't propose that, but as we get in this, again, this is only conceptual. Once we get into a design, we're going to look at getting as much pedestrian access as we can along the frontages of those roadways.
Okay, thank you.
Michelle Arminio, 9 Nathaniel Street. Do we presently, as a town community, have the deed to this land? Do we own this land, Madam Council President?
No, we'll close on it this year.
We'll close on it this year. Are there any
Yes, ma'am.
stipulations or conditions in order for us to close on it?
Other than your normal environmental conditions, which we've gotten all of our environmental reports and title conditions, but no, other than that, no conditions.
Title conditions. So who are we?
Federal Business Center.
Federal Business Center owns it right now.
Yes, ma'am.
Are they promised anything before they hand over this land to us as stipulations for getting the deed? Financial or otherwise conditions?
We have to pay for it. We have to give them the money, if that's
Okay,
your
and that
question.
was the 2 million, that was just,
$2,450,000.
so we don't own the property yet, but you believe that we will.
But we have an ordinance authorizing the purchase, and we have the contract of sale that'll be signed in the next few days.
I was going to say, we do have a contract of sale coming up. Okay, there seems to be a lot of wetlands on this property. I hope we're not paying we are paying a whole lot for it.
It's
but
21 acres.
yeah, a lot of it is wetlands. Could we get a ratio of wetlands to usable land at this point?
It's approximately 8 acres of uplands out of the 21.
And 8 acres uplands. Okay. Now, do we usually have a problem with Green Acres about, is there intention of covering wetlands? I know you talked about DEP permits and all that kind of
No
stuff.
building in the wetlands.
So we only have the opportunity to use 8 acres of this property?
Well, we can only build on it. There's trails through
Right.
it and stuff.
So that's what I'm
nature
saying.
trails, yeah.
We're not going to really be putting any construction on the premises or going for a diversion of the wetlands?
No,
Is
we're
there
we're going to construct the park on it and the playground and the parking lot, but that's going to go on as part of the 8 acre upland. We're not going to construct in the wetlands. Correct.
Council President, as part of this first phase of what we're applying for the grant, we're not disturbing any wetlands or wetland buffers. We're not touching them.
Are there any streams on this property as it is?
Council President, there is along the southern portion of that. You see a shaded line that runs from the top of the page to the bottom of the page. That
And
dark.
does that feed into the Manalapan Brook? Is that part of the Manalapan Brook's structure?
I think it's part of the tributary to the Millstone.
Oh, to the Millstone.
Yeah.
Okay, so that gets protected with the kind of,
Yes, ma'am.
that's going to get protected. And where's the basin going to be, or where you think it might be?
Adjacent, Council President, it's adjacent to the parking lot and the inclusive playground, right along the, I guess that's the eastern border there. It's a square area. It says proposed drainage basin.
And do we anticipate bathrooms there
Council President, at this time, no.
for the first phase? But has it been discussed at all? I see the project budget estimate. Is this for the first phase only or for the entire project?
Council President, this is just for the first phase. That's under the Green Acres. Yeah, we're essentially maxing out the grant that we can get. And it's only a first phase. There's no future phase planned or you know, we haven't, you know, sat down to figure out what may be in the future. Right now, we're concentrating on getting this driveway into the property, which, if you can see it, the driveway can be expanded into the uplands area that's further to the south.
Is that the driveway on the top right part?
That's correct. The driveway's
okay.
Coming in from the top, and the park is on the top right there.
Oh, okay, so that's not an existing structure. That's what you're projecting?
That's a proposed driveway and parking
Okay.
lot. Yes.
I didn't know if that was an existing structure.
There is like a trail there, a bit of a trail, and you can see
yeah.
some of the lines in the middle of the parcel. Those are some existing trails or overgrown. And, you know, envisioning that you can get to those trails and walk those trails. Once
So
you
yeah,
have the parking lot.
when is it anticipated? I know you said it might take a year. Even if we don't own it, do people have access to it now? Can they go on the property?
Not yet, we don't own it.
Okay, so it would be trespassing at this point. We can't really go in.
Correct. Well, people shouldn't be on the property in any event until we develop it. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
Any other members of the public wishing to speak? Seeing none, may I have a motion to close?
Motion.
Second, please. Thank you. Moving on to item 5. Clerk, can you please read item 5?
Ordinance for second reading, Ordinance 01-2026-001, Supervisory Personnel 2026 Salary and Wage Ordinance for Monroe Township, Middlesex County.
May I have a motion to open the public hearing? May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any members of the public wishing to speak? It's 5 minutes per speaker, and please state your name and address for the record.
Excuse me. Lucille Panos, 1208 Sealandera Plaza. I'm just curious, the percentage, the salary, if there's going to be raises, is it across the board, 5% or 2%, or does one department head get more than the other department, percentage-wise?
Mr. McGowan?
So, Council President, for the last few years since our last contract cycle, the yearly raises have been 2.9%.
Council President, is that across the board, or do some department heads get more percentage or less? Excuse me.
Council President, the 2.9% is across the board.
Thank you. Any other members in the public wishing to speak? Seeing none, may I have a motion to close?
Motion.
May I have a second? Thank you. May I have a motion to adopt? May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Cohen. Yes. Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Council Vice President Markell. Yes. Council President Siegel.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Moving on to item 6. Clerk, can you please read item 6?
Ordinances for first reading. Ordinance 02-2026-002. Ordinance approving the traffic signal improvements for Applegarth Road and Joan Warren Way.
May I have a motion, please? May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Cohen. Yes. Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Council Vice President Markell. Yes. Council President Siegel.
Yes.
Motion carries. Ordinance 02-2026-003. Ordinance amending Chapter 108 of the Monroe Township Code, rezoning of parcels included in Monroe Township's Round 4 Affordable Housing Plan.
May I have a motion, please? Second, please. Second. Roll call.
Councilwoman Cohen. Yes. Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Council Vice President Markell. Yes. Council President Siegel.
Yes.
Motion carries. Ordinance 02-2026-004. Ordinance amending Chapter 108, Article 6.18J13 of the HD Highway Development District, and Article 6.7K of the R3A Residential Agricultural District.
May I have a motion, please? May I have a second? Second. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Cohen. Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Council Vice President Markell. Yes. Council President Siegel.
Yes.
Motion carries. Ordinance 02-2026-005. Ordinance to repeal and replace Section 131 Affordable Housing and Section 131A Affordable Housing Development Fees with revised regulations in conformance with the amended Fair Housing Act.
May I have a motion, please? Second, please.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Cohen. Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Council Vice President Markell. Council President Siegel.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Clerk, can you please read item 7?
Resolution for consideration under the consent agenda, R2-2026-031 through R2-2026-055, with the exception of Resolution R2-2026-042 and 044, which will be considered separately.
May I have a motion, please? May I have a second? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Cohen. Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Council Vice President Markell. Council President Siegel.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Clerk, can you please read item 8?
Resolutions removed from the consent agenda for consideration is R2-2026-042 and R2-2026-044.
May I have a motion, please? May I have a second? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Cohen. Councilman DePiero.
Abstain.
Council Vice President Markell. Yes. Council President Siegel.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Great, thank you. Moving on to our administrator's report, Mr. McGowan.
Thank you, Council President. There's a couple of things I'd like to bring to the council's attention tonight. First, I'd like to talk about the storm that we just experienced over the last several weeks, and then I want to invite up some representatives from JCP&L who are here to provide some updates. But before I do that, I know we always, rightly so, thank over and over again our DPW, MTUD, Parks and Rec for all the great work that they do during these storms. But it seems like with this one that a thank you just isn't enough. So if you'll indulge me, I just want to give some facts and specifics that I think are important for the township to know. So I'm talking about obviously the winter storm event that occurred around January 25th. Our DPW, MTUD, and Parks and Rec crews actively worked around the clock from 12 a.m. Sunday the 25th through Tuesday the 27th, clearing and treating over 150 miles of township roadways. Weather conditions were not favorable for normal plowing operations. There was poor visibility. Extreme cold temperatures created challenges for snow removal operations and prolonged the clearing process substantially. Road crews worked 12-hour shifts for the first 24-hour period, with an increase to 15 hours following to ensure roadway safety during the transition from snow to sleet and freezing rain. Each shift consisted of 25 to 30 snow removal assets on township roadways, including, and I know this is lengthy, but I still think it's important for all of us to know, 17 plow and salter trucks, 12 plow-only trucks, 2 front-end loaders with plows, 2 backhoes with 10-foot snow pushers, a skid steer with a 9-foot snow pusher, 1 mini track loader with snowblower attachment, 1 John Deere tractor with a snowplow, 12 DPW snow blowers, 5 Parks Department snow blowers, and MTUD provided an additional 12 plow trucks between 2 shifts. Which is an amazing amount of equipment and fleet and staff that goes into this kind of an operation for a 43 square mile town. It really is an amazing operation that I got to see a little bit up firsthand. Not that I drove anything or put anybody in danger, but I got to see it firsthand, and it is an amazing operation what all of those departments do. We also utilized the subcontractor for snow removal under one of our landscape contracts, just to show the township that we are using every tool in our toolbox during these difficult storms to get to these streets as soon as humanly possible. And those operations take place in a priority to our roadways. There's the primary and main roadways get cleared first, followed by secondary roadways, side streets and developments, and finally dead-end streets and cul-de-sacs are prioritized at that point, with a total salt usage during this storm of 525 tons, which is an amazing operation, as I said. Building maintenance and Parks and Rec staff cleared all the township facilities and parking lots and walkways throughout the day on Sunday so that we could try and get back to normal operations, not just during the work week, but for all of our recreation, senior programs, library programs that happen on the weekends and on off hours. They cleared all commuter park and ride locations and all township-owned roads and maintained New Jersey Transit bus shelters. And all of the office staff from DPW on Monday, January 26th, when we were closed for the emergency, they still came in to field calls and concerns related to winter event for quick responsive action, which we can't thank them enough. It's really, it's everyone in the operation, from whether you're driving a truck or answering complaints or helping to coordinate and mobilize folks. It's really something. Post-storm operations. This is the first storm in my lifetime that I've ever seen the snow stick around for 3 weeks. And not just stick around, but turn into rock solid ice for a period of 3 weeks with frigidly cold weathers. And so crews continued to clear roadways and intersections and problem areas throughout the remainder of that week, cleared all bus stops along Monmouth Road, crossing guard locations and all major intersections to ensure a safe school commute, cleared various locations throughout the township for related bus stop safety, cleared and treated thousands of feet of township-owned sidewalk, and as of this past Friday, we're actively still clearing areas of concern, and even today, still clearing areas of concern, as we all hope and pray that this 40 degrees that we're supposed to get on Wednesday finally gives us a little bit of melting and a little bit of relief. I'll be just another moment longer just to explain the approach of the township in terms of snow removal. We understand that the storms created significant challenges for many residents. This unique storm was more than we've seen in a long time, as I said, followed by 3 weeks of extreme cold temperatures. Township ordinance requires property owners to clear snow from sidewalks and hydrants located on their property. The intent of the ordinance is to ensure public roadways remain safe and passable for all pedestrians, including school children and first responders. But we recognize, however, that severe weather conditions and accumulated ice can make compliance difficult and in some cases pose a risk of injury to residents attempting to remove ice themselves. The township is mindful of these hardships and does not take a punitive approach to enforcement. Zoning officers are generally dispatched in response to specific complaints, particularly when a sidewalk serves as a necessary passageway, such as a route to a school bus, and the zoning officers are providing reminders, not fines or court summonses. We understand that our residents are not ignoring their responsibility, but for many of them, this is a very difficult storm to work through. And in these situations, the primary goal is to address safety concerns and help our residents get into compliance, not penalize property owners. And so, consistent with many of our neighboring municipalities, and I've talked to numerous other business administrators throughout the last 2 weeks who are taking the exact same kind of approach. And we encourage our residents to take reasonable measures when conditions are allowed and prioritize their personal safety. If you're unable to address a condition due to a physical limitation, we ask that you communicate this to the township, and maybe we can be of some help in some way. Thank you for your understanding and cooperation as we work together as a community during this challenging weather event. And I appreciate the very long report, Council President. And with that, I would like to ask our representatives from JCP&L, completely shifting topics here, from JCP&L to give us some updates on some of the concerns that we've been expressing to them over the course of the last several months.
Jose Ortiz, Jersey Central Power and Light.
Kieran Tentel, Jersey Central Power and Light.
So we want to first thank you all for the opportunity to come in today and speak to you about the recent outages that have occurred in Monroe Township. We thank the residents as well as the council and mayor for this opportunity. In recent storm activity, we have seen 3 significant impacts that have impacted some of the residents, and there are some concerns, but then on the hindsight of everything, there are some opportunities for us to improve our system. And that's something I'll speak about a little bit afterwards. But in wake of the recent outages that first occurred in November 16th, we did have a large outage that impacted around 5,000 customers. The cause of this outage was a wind event where our crews came out, performed all their inspections on the circuit where we had an open breaker that responded to protect the circuit. We did not find anything on site, so we were able to re-energize all customers within about 10 minutes. On the 23rd of November as well, we received another large outage that impacted around, I want to say about 2,000 customers. This was about an 80-minute outage that was the result of, as well, wind that, and when we say that, when it's a wind event, there's many different causes, and why we don't see anything is there are circuit protection devices out in the field that if in the event that a Maillard balloon or a branch falls as a result of the wind, the device opens up to protect the line. Our crews have to go out, investigate, patrol the lines, and ensure that it's safe to energize again. It's not something that we can just energize directly from our dispatch centers. So it does create a little bit of constraints with putting everyone back into power. And I just want to emphasize that we just have to ensure that we don't create any situations that are unsafe. So our crews go out there and they physically walk the lines.
To just add some further clarification on that, what Jose is referring to in that device that operated, that opened and then hung open, that's an automatic recloser device operating as it's supposed to. So when Jose says went out there, didn't find anything, if not for that automated recloser device, it is more than likely that a fault would have occurred on that line, meaning it's possible that line could have burnt up and fallen down. Many different things can happen when something faults. So that switch, that recloser, operated in the form and manner that it should, and it hung open. When that happens, for safety and for the benefit of the system, to keep the system intact, we will manually patrol that entire circuit to ensure that there's not a tree limb that's still hanging on if the wind had blown it. As Jose had mentioned, Mylar balloons, believe it or not, are problematic because they contain metal, which is conductive when it hits multiple phases. So it's not that we did not find a cause. We found the cause. We didn't find a piece of wire burnt up. Then we had to patrol that line manually, get visual eyes on all of it, and then reclose that back in. So just wanted to provide some further clarity on that.
Thank you, Kieran. And then we did have one more event on the 3rd of December that impacted around 2,000 customers. It was a 20-minute outage, the result of a tree that had fallen off right-of-way. And what we say, when we say off right-of-way, it basically means there are aerial rights that we have to manage the vegetation on, where we trim back the lines, make sure that they are free and clear of any obstructions such as branches. In this event, we did have a tree, a very large tree, that fell off right-of-way that is outside of our zone. It fell, took down some lines, one being a sub-transmission line, and that impacted various circuits. This outage was restored within about 20 minutes through different stage restoration efforts of our crews. So what I would like to take the opportunity now is to talk about some of the things that we've learned from these situations and what's to come for Monroe and for your residents. We do have different various programs that are already already have begun. One to kind of bolster is the Energize New Jersey, which is a very large project. This project is going to bring a lot of benefits, not only to the reliability, but also for the future and growth of Monroe and its residents. We do have 4 circuit ties that are going to be put into place. And what circuit ties do is they basically communicate back and forth from, if there is an outage on one circuit, we will use an additional circuit from, it could be the same substation or a second substation, that will backfeed restore customers and reduce the total amount of customers affected, as well as the restoration times. We also have a lot of smart protection devices that are going to be coming in. There's about 7 different devices, and I won't go into details on what these devices are, but these devices are basically put into place to help reduce the amount of customers that will be affected. They are automated devices as well that will also reduce the amount of time that customers are impacted, reducing it down to the lowest, clearest, and smallest amount of customers. We do have 3 substation upgrades that are coming into town. And these 3 substation upgrades will basically benefit not only capacity, they are going to also benefit the substation with different pieces of equipment that will be as well automated to help ensure that we can restore folks as quickly and safely as possible. The total investment we're looking to spend here is about $4.7 million. We hope to execute and complete everything by the end of 2028. In addition to this program, we also have what we like to call our HPC, where we have identified 3 different circuits. 2 of these circuits are the circuits that I spoke about earlier having impacted by these outages. With these, with these projects, we're looking to do distribution upgrades, and that's to say in the field, we're looking to either change poles, look at equipment upgrades. We're also looking to change some of the wire out as well. So those are big things to come. I will provide the council and mayor and administration talking points on these projects so that you can post them on your website so that folks can always reference and look to. If there's any questions, you can always feel free to reach out to me. We will also be doing some trimming. We have about a 60-day notice that I'm going to be sending out for the vegetation management. It's a 4-year cycle for the Monroe substation. And I'll give you a street list as well, so you'll be aware of where we'll have crews working. So I want to thank you folks for that opportunity. Unless you want anything to add?
If I can just add something here. I'm new to my position. I work with Jose. I lead our government affairs team and our customer team. Our customer team has historically worked with our commercial industrial accounts. In fact, Jose used to be on that team before he transitioned over to government affairs. And, within the last, I guess I've been in this role about 8 months, we've really started to look at things differently. And Monroe is a very unique town. You have a lot of homeowners associations that are very, very well organized and well run. And we see that as an opportunity. So we again went back and looked at, maybe these HOAs don't, consume a megawatt or greater of load, which historically, that was the metric that we used on if we would assign a customer support rep to one of our C&I customers, commercial industrial customers. That wasn't working for me. We were getting many complaints. In many instances, you all were becoming our call center, which isn't right. And so we assigned Ashley Whitehead on our team just towards the 3rd quarter last year to the HOAs. I think that there's been a lot of benefit on both sides. I hope that you're seeing that benefit, but we want to be doing more for our customers. We want to be telling our story more, part of the reason why we're here. And we know that with that comes accountability. We need to be held accountable, and you all are here to hold us accountable as you should. That's very fair. So we aren't going to hide from issues. This is going to be the norm. If you want to speak to us, or if any of you want to speak to us, we're here. We're not afraid because we are constantly working to get better. If you'll indulge me for one more moment, I just want to explain a little bit about our company. You all have known Jersey Central Power and Light, I'm sure, for years and years and years. Within the last year, we have completely restructured as a company. As I'm sure you're all aware, on your bill it says First Energy. That's our parent company located out in Akron, Ohio. For a long time, this company was run as part of First Energy, meaning that our leadership in Akron, Ohio at times were kind of telling us where we should and should not be spending money, etc. That's done. We're under complete state control now. That's part of the reason why I'm in this position. We own our profits and loss as a company now, but it also means that we own where we're going to invest. So we are making very local decisions. And some of what you've heard tonight from Jose, is just that. We are making decisions to make critical investments to better serve our customers. We understand the importance of electricity for all of our customers, and in some cases even more so for our seniors. And I know Monroe does have a large senior population. So again, thank you for having us out. If you need us, we are going to be here. We can assure you of that. Our phones will be answered. So we're happy to take any questions. If
There'll be a public comment.
okay.
Stick around.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll be happy to stick around.
Does anyone on the council have any questions?
Council
Mr.
President,
Hero.
one of the biggest concerns we have in the past is streetlights. I know our mayor's tried so many times to try to get streetlights in our adult communities, as you said, and you go on your website and you punch in, streetlight pole numbers, address, and I mean, I personally must have done it 3 or 4 times for the same streetlights that were out. So I think that's something that we would all like JCP&L to improve. And also, when you do replace the streetlights, are you putting any LED lighting, or are you going to be putting in light bulbs that we can't purchase anymore and they go out a month later?
I need to address through the council president. Is that correct? I just want to make sure I'm all right. Madam Council President, appreciate this being brought up. We are extremely focused on streetlights across our territory, but especially in Monroe. We have been engaged with the administration over the last, I'd say 4 or 5 months, and are working on some process improvements. And it is absolutely a collaboration. I want to thank the chief and the police department for their collaboration. As of right now, the last time we met was just a few weeks ago. We had a report of some lights around the Forest Gate area. Those lights had not, in fact, been reported in our system. That's full, fine, and well, because due to this partnership and collaboration with this administration, which we appreciate so much, we are being alerted in a different way. And so Forest Gate, that's a dangerous road, right? That's 4 lanes. I don't want anybody going out there trying to get a pole number. So how this is working, and I know that a list is forthcoming from the police department since even last time we met, but that evening we repaired 90 streetlights, way more than what was just reported to us on that Forest Gate area. So when we know about them, we are responding to them. We will fix them. There are times that perhaps somebody is reporting a streetlight and it does ask for a house number and address, and customers put in their own house number and address, and maybe not the other qualifiers that we need. Maybe the pole is actually 3 or 4 streets away. And so our customers may think that it's been reported. In fact, it's showing up as their address. We go out there and we close the ticket because the streetlight in front of their home is functioning. But with what we're working through with the police department, with your administrator, is getting more regular lists and areas, and we will respond. Now, a lot of this is undergrounds, indirect bury undergrounds. That is time-consuming work. It takes markouts, which then you have to wait for the markout to ensure that every utility is in fact marked out. We contract that work out. It would be a mountain for a utility to be doing direct boring and that sort of thing. So there are steps to it. Now, as you had mentioned, we just had 3 weeks of straight cold after getting 9-10 inches of snow. It's all turned to ice. In some cases, we have secondary enclosures for these underground facilities that we need to get to in order to make these repairs. And it's obviously, a large task when you're digging through ice to be able to locate those and so on and so forth. Not trying to make an excuse, just trying to give an example of what could in some cases hold us up a little bit. But we are hyper focused on streetlights. I can guarantee you that the line shop manager in operations for JCP&L who handles Monroe is probably watching this on YouTube right now. It is being taken that seriously. To answer your second question regarding LEDs, it's not as simple as us being able to go out and replace what's currently there. typically a sodium vapor fixture with an LED fixture. We're a regulated utility. The Board of Public Utilities has a tariff on file that outlines how we charge, what we can charge, what we can't charge for. In a scenario where we would be looking to upgrade to LEDs, it would take a formal request from the streetlight customer. In this case, that would be Monroe Township. And then there would be a cost to that. Those assets that are out there still have a cost associated with, functional cost associated with them per the tariff. So depending on voltage, you could be looking at a few $100s per light fixture that you would want to upgrade to LEDs. That's an issue for us, just the same as it is for you, right? We want our customers to switch to LEDs. It uses less electricity. The lights reportedly burn much longer than sodium vapor. It would reduce truck rolls. It would certainly make our customers happy if the lights weren't going off or burning out. So we want to, and we are committed to working with our municipalities to find a path forward on that. But again, the way the tariff is written, we're going to have to get creative. We might need to speak with our legislators and speak with the state and, look for other alternative avenues, because at the end of the day, affordability is paramount across the board. So we want to make sure that, we're doing this in such a way that our municipalities can foot the bill. And if they cannot foot the bill, we want to be working collaboratively to try to find a way to help you with your budgets to be able to do this. Yes, sir. Oh.
My question is this: if we don't report a light out, how does it get fixed?
If you don't report a light out, then we don't know about it, unless we
So
just...
if a street light isn't reported out, it'll never get fixed. It's up to us as a municipality to tell you that the street light's out, and then supposedly you'll go send a crew out there and fix it. So that's the way it works. Okay.
Yes, the responsibility lies in the customer. If, again, if we get a call from municipality, streetlights are out, Jose, myself, anyone, we'll generally go and make those notifications when we can and have those orders created to fix those streetlights. But you are correct that we don't have someone in a truck driving around making sure that every light is on. The reporting responsibility lies on the customer.
So as of now, since this new system is taken over, if we report streetlights out in a timely manner, they should be repaired, correct? Because I've been on a committee for 7 years reporting streetlights out that are still out. So I'm very... and the people that I speak to every day in Monroe are very frustrated, especially in the senior communities, especially in Clearbrook, in Concordia.
We totally understand that.
I'm just saying it's hopefully what you're saying is really going to.
Look, there's no doubt that we had a backlog in streetlights. We've worked through that backlog considerably, and we don't view it as a backlog anymore. We view it as what's coming in is going out on those trucks and being worked. There are, as I alluded to before and talking about the direct boring, there are occasions where there is more of an issue than the bulb or the PE cell or the fixture itself. Underground faults are typically the culprit in those cases. Those follow-up orders can take a little bit more time due to the need for mark out, then waiting period following a mark out, and then depending on how slammed the contractors are, getting it on the schedule.
Contractors that you use for underground problems. The contractors that you use for underground problems, there are private contractors and not people that work for JCP&L?
Correct.
Right. Okay.
Council.
Yes, I have a question. You indicated earlier in your presentation. Oh, the microphone. I hate microphones. You indicated earlier in your presentation that you have a dedicated person
for our homeowners associations. So is it not possible, as part of the scope of that person's duties, that when lights are being repaired in communities such as Rossmore, that they get a report back, or they can be, so that they can inform the boards of the homeowners association could then inform their residents that X number of lights are in progress or have been repaired, and that would certainly go a long way, I would think, to diffusing the anger, and it is anger, by the way, in these communities, that their lights have been out for so very long.
We are already on that. So as I mentioned about Ashley,
Yes.
she just came into this special assignment in the fall. So she has been working on getting out, seeing folks, building relationships, which is paramount to good communication. I talked to Ashley. She was to come tonight. Her daughter is sick, and she didn't want to get any of us sick. So I appreciate her not coming. But Ashley, I believe, is making great strides with these communities, and that communication is flowing better than it ever has.
And as long as it's one of the aims of her position, then that will occur. It can't be a byproduct that, oh, she's contacting them. So I thank you for that.
Absolutely. It is the aim to her position, and she's also reporting directly to me from this position so that I can also help manage and solve these issues as quickly as
Without
possible.
lights, people fall.
I'm sorry?
Without lights, people fall. So in addition to weather issues, you have people
so
who
true.
are at fall risk because of their age, and then there's no lights, so for sure you can fall.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, we have public forum. Can we?
We'll stick around for public
So-
comments.
Public forum, yeah.
Stay for the public portion. Yeah,
At the public comments.
at the end of the meeting.
We'll move on to the engineer's report. Mr. Razumowitz.
Thank you, Council President. Well, the cold winter has slowed down some of our projects. The James Monroe concession stand, they're still working out there what they could inside the building, but that certainly has hampered that project a bit. Additionally, the pickleball courts and parking lot at the senior center, that weather has slowed that project down. They are working on the pavilion out there to as weather permits. And also, I want to bring up with regard to the municipal stormwater system and our stormwater permit. Under DEP requires 3 phases of our stormwater permit. The first phase was an inventory of our stormwater, which was completed at the end of 2025. The next phase is an assessment report, which essentially is our planning of our planning for watershed improvement, which is due at the end of 2026. And then the third phase would be finalization of a watershed improvement plan, which is the end of 2027. And I bring this up because a couple meetings ago, we representative of the Watershed Institute, Joe Lynn, who happens to be here tonight, brought to our attention that the Watershed Institute is taking a regional approach to the Upper Millstone River Watershed Management Plan. It involves a number of towns, approximately 10 towns, including Monroe would be one of them, Cranberry, West Windsor, South Brunswick, Plainsboro, Hightstown. So there's a few other towns, approximately 10, which all share the Upper Millstone watershed. So their approach is a regional approach where if all the towns participate, they'll have one consultant look at the entire watershed and make an assessment and then put together a plan. So last week, I attended my first working group meeting with the Watershed Institute and some of the other towns. Councilman DePiro was also on that Zoom. So it was very informative. It's certainly, I think, a pretty good approach to looking at the entire watershed. Some of the other towns, some weren't sure yet if they were participating or not. And it was a lot of information. So essentially, at some point, if Monroe is to participate, we would need to do a council resolution supporting it and to be part of that group and the regional assessment. And there's obviously costs involved as well. So at this point, I'm still digesting all the information that was provided. I don't have a recommendation to the council one way or another. I've reviewed it with the business administrator. I gave them a summary of the meeting, and possibly at the next meeting, I may have a recommendation for the council. But I did want to bring that up and mention it to the council.
Great. Thank you.
And that's my report.
We'll move on to council reports. Councilman DePiero.
Thank you. I'll pick up where Mark left off on the watershed Zoom meeting. It was very informative. It's a good part to be part of a regional plan instead of just doing a township plan. But I really defer that to Mark at being our engineer to see. Monroe participation. There was two different figures at that meeting that was like 20% of the cost, which we were the bigger of the towns for the cost. So I'll just defer that to Mark for next meeting. But it was an interesting meeting, and I thank them for inviting us. I had a question in reference to our detention basins, ponds. No skating signs. I drove around. I didn't see too many signs on these wet basins. Something that now that hopefully, as our business administrator said, it's going to be 42 degrees that we're hoping for. Maybe we should make sure that we have signage on these detention basins, ponds. I don't want to see anybody, getting hurt or getting a situation where we have to get our first responders on these ponds. So maybe we should check the ponds out and get some signage up. I also, some of us attended a solar on Sayreville MTMUA. It was a 10-acre lake. I want to thank the administrator for putting that together. The meeting was very interesting, except for there was so much snow we couldn't really see too much of the panels, along with the question that we asked, is it working today? And with the snow, it really wasn't functioning at its full capacity. Just like if you had solar on your roof, it's understandable. Maybe they should elevate it. Our contractor was there. We had our DPW director, he was there. Our council president was there, along with our business administrator. And it was interesting to listen to Dave Samuels from CME, who designed it, and he explained that they didn't want to cut down 10 acres of trees, and that's the reason why they had it on the lake. But I requested it months ago, and I want to thank Kevin for putting it together. And it was, and we all are welcome to come back on a better day. So, which I will pop by, I'm sure, just to check it out. I also wanted to mention fire elections, February 21st from 2 to 9 o'clock. Unless you do a vote by mail, you can also do that as well at your firehouses. It's a very important election. A lot of people say they complain, but they don't vote. So you really need to get out on February 21st, if you could, between 2 and 9 for your fire elections. There's a ice hockey middle school and high school leagues. It's they're going to have a sign-in for spring ice. It's a league that runs from April to June. Its registration is $325. You can inquire at the rec center, along with spring baseball and along with spring softball. There's information on the websites, or you can also go to the community center and sign up for these sports. The good news is, look, spring's coming. That's all we hope for. But I had a question for our attorney in reference to future dates in courts. I like to be, I like to attend some of these court cases. So I requested it a couple times, and he responded that there is one coming up. So going forward, if I can, the whole council should really know where these cases are being heard, when, and because I like to attend if possible. I like to go to these court cases in here. An example like BFI, no one talks about, where are we with that as far as a settlement agreement? I know we talked about it, but I mean, how far off are we? I know it's been going through planning boards and stuff like that. So I just like to stay up on it. If the attorney could let the council know on the dates, I'd appreciate it.
Well, the BFI case is settled. You voted on the settlement. So all we're doing is implementing the settlement now.
Yeah, well, it's not final.
No, it's settled. So that's why there's no court dates, because it's settled. So all we're doing is, we all have obligations under the settlement agreement. Our obligation is to go through the redevelopment process, which we're in the process of going through. So there won't be any court dates for that. If you're concerned about
that was not. We do get a 3-month report, as when Councilwoman Cohen was the chair. She requested that, and we all got that, and I thank you for that. But what I'm saying is going future for the lawsuit. I don't want to name any of them, because BFI was the one that we just went through. But I think the council should know. That's my request. State of emergency. When the governor says it's state of emergency, do we get reimbursed on the cost for snow plowing and salt and everything when there's a state of emergency? Do we put in for state of emergency funds?
We don't get reimbursed.
So we do not get reimbursed.
No, you're thinking of when the governor declares a state of emergency, and then the federal government, FEMA comes in, and then there might be some reimbursement. But when the governor declares a state of emergency and says everybody should stay off the turnpike, there's no funding.
Right. So we do not get any funds for that.
No, sir.
Okay. Then I also wanted to thank everybody as well. As our business administrator talked about the 150 miles of roads in Monroe. It's important that we thank our residents as well as our DPW, our parks, and our water company, MTUD, everybody, but it's also our residents, because it's very difficult. A lot of our residents are elderly, and it's hard to get the sidewalks and get everything cleared off. And I just wanted to say thank you to our residents that did that, for especially the schools. I'm very concerned around the schools to watch the children walk out in the roadway. It's not a good scene, along with visibility of people driving. And I just wanted to thank everybody, as our business administrator did before. And I also wanted to thank our residents on making it happen, because the staff that did come in at DPW to take the calls for our residents as the complaints were coming in, our DPW was right there with the crews and our third party that helped us through the community to get the roads done. I mean, they did an amazing job, and to do that, we take our hats off to all of you guys and everybody that did that. Just wanted to say thank you to everybody. And I also wanted to say this it's Black History Month, so it's just something that I just wanted to mention. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Cohen. Hello.
Any mayor turn on my, I don't do these. No, I forget. Right before the storm began, many of us were in a local luncheonette, and we were getting that last cup of coffee and socializing with people just as we knew the snow was beginning to fall. And a group of residents said to me, I hope our DPW gets our streets clean. I said, oh, they will. I said, and I bet you they're out now beginning to prepare us with sanding and salting so that we will all be as safe as possible. So it is my pleasure to also, as you've been thanked, to thank you again. But that's exactly what you did. Your staff and you did your job, and you did it really well. And I did want to say thank you for that. And then all these people knew, wow, we knew ahead of time. You know, we have an advisory health council in town, and it is finally, I think, getting its sea legs. And many of you are familiar with the File of Life, a paper where you can list whatever medications you take, post it on your refrigerator. And that way, if there is an incident and help comes to your house, they know what you take. So we've begun a project. We've gotten a load of the Files of Life. They will be deposited in all of our adult communities. They will go a group of them to the library. And to the senior center and the community center. And I would urge everyone to take one for each member of their family who takes any medication. And that way it is there. I have been reliably informed by our EMS folks that they don't care about the dosages as much as they care about knowing what medication people are taking. And that's what they need. So please look for it. It's red and it says File of Life. And I would hope that you enjoy it. And the Advisory Health Council folks will make sure that it continues to be filled when the Files of Life are finished. Take them and use them. That's about all.
Thank you. Council Vice President Markell?
I also want to shout out to the DPW for a great job. I was on kind of an interesting story. I was on jury duty for a month on a criminal case and three of us on the final jury were from Monroe. And they knew I was on the council, and they asked me if we were ready for snow removal. And I said, give me your addresses, and which I don't know why I asked them for their addresses, but I got a report back the following Tuesday that thanks to me, their streets were plowed, but I told them I wasn't out there that evening. But I want to thank the DPW for making me look good, you know? Just go with it, as they say. I'd also just like to mention Black History Month, which is, I think, super important. I don't think a lot of people give it a second thought, but the history of the black people in this country are more than people see on TV, where it's civil rights and this and that. The contributions that the black community has given to us in music and food. If you read about Elvis Presley, his music comes from gospel music and from the blues, and all this is developed from African music and so forth. So I just want to say that I think we should give a second thought. All look at Black History Month very, very, very seriously. I was a history major. I took an African American history course in 1970. There was a lot less African history then than there is now, so I did well. I remember where I was April 8th, 1968, the day Martin Luther King got assassinated. I remember how I felt. I had the pleasure of walking in marches with Reverend Jackson and Danny Glover. So it made me reflect my life, how it was related to the black community. That's what I'm thinking about this month, and I hope everybody else does. It's very important. It's American history. It's not really just black history. It's American history, and I think everybody should be aware of it. And thank you.
Thank you. I have a couple real short updates. As my council colleague said, I too want to thank DPW for all the hard work. It's also our police, our OEM, and all the other departments that are involved. And of course the residents, as Councilman DePiero said, who do their part too by moving your cars off the streets, whatever you're doing to help handle the snow. So thank you to everyone involved. And just a reminder, I know I get a lot of questions from people about how to stay connected, knowing what's happening in the township. Our township website is wonderful. There's a lot of great information on there, and it's kept very up to date. It's great to join the e-newsletter. Make sure you're part of Nixle to know when roads are closed or what's happening. Our OEM has great pages. A lot of our department have great pages on social media. So if you are someone who uses social media, please do check out those pages. Lots of good information. And something really nice, I don't know if people know, but we have an Olympian that lives in Monroe, Brianna Schnorbush. So she's going for the gold. So try to look out for her, and we're cheering her on. So I just want to mention that. And I would like to turn this over to the clerk for a moment. She's going to share changes to legal notice publication requirements that were effective March 1st, 2026, before we go over to the mayor.
So, former Governor Murphy on June 30th, he's doing the transition from traditional print newspaper to online platforms for all legal notices for all municipalities. So effective March 1st, 2026, the complete text of all legal notices for the Township of Monroe will be available on our website, www.monroetwp.com. It will be on the home page. It will be under legal advertisements. So all the legal advertisements for the month, you can click on that and see them. And then on that page as well will be an archived for all the legal notices past that, and they will be on the website going forward. So as of March 1st, please check that out. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Mayor Delino.
Thank you, Madam Council President. So let's start off with something sweet. It is Girl Scout cookie season, my friends. And I got my cookies delivered yesterday, just in time for me to devour them during the Super Bowl. And I do want to just briefly touch upon the letter that she provided me. Dear Mayor Delina, hi, I hope this letter finds you well and warm. It has been such a cold and snowy winter so far. I can't wait for the warmer weather. I wanted to share with you this year's theme for the Girl Scout cookie sale. It's BFF, Brave, Fierce, Fun. And it's designed to empower girl-led entrepreneurship with a focus on resilience and creativity. To me, this powerful phrase means to face new challenges while stepping out of one's comfort zone, to take bold action to achieve one's goals, to embrace joy, and to be open to new experiences and adventures. As a Girl Scout and resident of Monroe Township, I strive to be open to new ideas, maintain a positive outlook, take initiative when needed, and step outside my comfort zone when faced with new experiences. These are the same qualities I see reflected in you as our incredible mayor. Oh my gosh, it's gonna make me blush. I did not add this. It is actually written in here. Oh, I'm honestly, I didn't read this beforehand, so I didn't. So I'm embarrassed. Thank you for being such a strong leader and inspiring role model. Your continued dedication to our town and its residents is truly appreciated. Thanks for everything that you do. It truly makes a difference in so many lives and is very appreciated. Also, thank you for always supporting me and the Girl Scouts. Your kindness, generosity, and ongoing support will always be remembered. Warmest wishes, Lauren Elizabeth Euro. So my friends, they've been at some of our local establishments. If you see any of our local Girl Scouts, please buy a box, donate money toward the box. They're going to be going to Walmart, and obviously they are technology savvy, so the website for Girl Scouts, just jump in there and please, cookies. You can always use some cookies. Just a couple items. Upcoming Mayor's Wellness Program, the Fall Prevention and Balance Program will be on Tuesday, March 24th at our Senior Center at 10 a.m. Also, please mark your calendars for our rabies clinic, which will be Saturday, March 7th. That's going to be at our community center, 9 to 2. And as Council President had mentioned about our Olympian, Brianna, I have been in touch with her and her family. So she is just so excited, and the email I just got today is she said she's proud to represent Monroe Township. I'm like, girl, you are representing the United States of America, baby. So she is snowboarding. She will be her first run will be on Friday, this coming Friday, the 13th. And I do believe it'll be at 4 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. So it'll be early, but she'll have a couple runs throughout the day. So if you have NBC on or any of the Peacock or whatever network on the computer, please keep an eye out for Monroe Proud Olympian Brianna and her, magic snowboard. And whatever she does, she is certainly a winner in, I think, all of our hearts. So God bless Brianna. Thank you, Madam Council President.
Thank you, Mayor Delina. We'll move on to public comments. May I have a motion to open, please? Thank you. May I have a second? Thank you. Those wishing to speak, 5 minutes per speaker. Please state your name and address for the record.
George Kunkelman, 5 Kelly Court, Monroe. Quickly, I just want to add to what everybody else has said about the snow removal. It's really impressive, and I travel around enough to see that we did a lot better than a lot of the surrounding towns. A lot better. I want to add one thing to that, however, and that is that everyone knows that they have a responsibility for clearing their sidewalk. I suspect very few people know that they have responsibility for clearing for their fire hydrant. And maybe that could fit into the newsletter at some point, just because driving around, I see very few of them. And minutes can be important. And I think about it every time I hear a fire engine going down the road. I hope they don't have a struggle to get to the hydrant. The other thing is it's not a requirement, but mailbox access. I spoke to my delivery person, and he indicated to me less than half had access without him getting out of the vehicle. So out of kindness to them and for prompt service, it's kind of worth doing. And maybe they can find its way into the newsletter to remind people to help out their newsmen or news persons. The other item for a newsletter is maybe we should remind people when taxes are due in the newsletter, because we're a month off the normal quarter thing. So you think about quarterly things in January and stuff, but not in February so much, and it's easy to forget. There's something that's I've got in the mail and is being advertised more and more, trying to market to people services for insuring against the loss of water line. We should remind people before they contract for any of this stuff to check with their homeowners. A lot of us have homeowners insurance that covers that. And a lot of people don't know that they have it, unless there's a lot of fine print in those contracts. So maybe we could say something. I mean, we've been pretty good, or the town has been very good at warning people about scams or marketing things that are exploitive, and that certainly could be one. I'd like to take a minute to address a gentleman from JCP&L. No one talked about the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room is the rate increases that everyone is experiencing. And I don't know what the process was to get those rate increases, but from what we read in general in the newspaper, it has to do with selling energy to data centers. So since one of you is from the C&I, or commercial and industrial, I'm sure you know all about this. But in my opinion, data centers should be paying a higher rate. There's no reason. I mean, look at the stock market and how much money all those things are making and how much generation there is. The idea that our rates should go up because you are going to try and supply them doesn't seem right to those of us who are residential consumers. And before you respond to that, I want to add one thing. I worked in commercial and built warehouses and stuff. Our tenants replaced their street lights with LEDs just because it was cheaper, not because it was because the real cost is not the well, you said maybe $250. It's the man on that. And the LEDs, not supposedly, they do last an awful lot longer than the sodium vapor lights that are in current existence. So just from a financial standpoint, it is so much cheaper. When the different utilities companies had some kind of a deal going on where you see these little panels smaller than a desktop of solar where there's a street light, those are all LED lights. So when the utility companies were doing this around the state, they knew which was the right one to put in.
Excuse me, Mr. Gonkelman, our time is up. You want to finish your thought?
Sure.
Do you want to wait until the end and then answer the questions?
Yeah.
If I could just respond at least to the supply and demand.
How about you wait until the public portion is over and
okay.
then let them answer, then you can answer their questions.
Thank you.
Lucio Panos, 1208 C. Lindera Plaza. A couple of items, a number of them. I'm just, 5,000 pencils cost how much? I didn't get that. When they were going over the bill list, Councilman DePiero said 5,000. You had the price thing right there. That's one question. The second thing is, Councilman DePiero brought up BFI. I remember years ago when Alan was business administrator, there was a meeting down there at the Brownfield, and I had suggested, why don't you put solar panels on here? So lo and behold, 5 years later, it's happening. And I am very confident in the company, CEP Renewals, who's taking that project on. I have a personal relationship with the CEO there. So good job. A little late, but better late than never. Number 3, Black Hill. Well, the thought of okay, no, but the thought of the solar panels was a good thing. As far as Black History Month, yes, there's food, music, and everything else. And I might not be as old as the councilman. I do remember when Martin Luther King got shot. But what I do remember vividly, very young, is when the man orbited the Earth. What was his name? No. John Glenn. Well, you have to watch the movie Hidden Figures. That is about the black woman who were instrumental. He would have never did that if it wasn't for so we could say Black History Month, but I'm going to push the black woman who made that possible. That was like, we walked to my house, but everybody was thrilled at that. That was 1, 2, 3, 4. As far as the lights being out, here in Clearbrook, we had about 110 lights out. So what do you do with that? At first, I was told that, somebody calls in the thing, they put it in the out pile, a third party comes and picks it up. And so then somebody else calls in the same light, and it goes into the pile. So you might have 2 or 3 third party people working on a light that was already fixed, or going out to a light that was already fixed. So that I hope there's a system, a tracking system for that. What did happen though, and Assemblyman D'Angelo, nice guy, you know, and I saw him, and I'm saying, hey, Wayne, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. Do you know? He said, get me a list of the lights. So I contacted like 30 people, neighbors, friends, said, listen, everybody go out and walk their neighborhood and write down the numbers. And they did, and sent them over to Assemblyman D'Angelo's office, and out of like 110, I'd say about 70 were fixed. So there's still like 30 out, but I have to give him accolades for really following up on that. As far as the street lights, is there any consideration for solar lights on the street? Sometimes you go through certain towns and you see that there's a little solar panel on their street light. I wonder if that's doable or possibly thought of here in Monroe. And last, the snow clearing procedures. Yes, it was a heck of a storm, but I am curious, what's the procedure? Like main roads I got, but what if it's a county road? Do we do the county roads, or does the county do the county roads? Who does the state roads? The state, I hope, does turnpike, but who does the schools? Is the Board of Ed responsible for the schools and the roads? How does that get disseminated? And also, do you have third-party plowers? In the town that I came from, private snow plowers would go, we'd give them tracking device to make sure they weren't tracking the township and snow plowing ShopRite. But, so I would hope that maybe you could utilize that. When I heard that the DEP and everything was working 24 hours and stuff like that, that's a lot on a person. So if there's not third party, maybe that could be considered. Thank you. Oh, well, the questions about the solar lights I would like at the end, I guess.
Hi, my name is Ganesh Masla. Address is 283 Morning Glory Drive. I have a few questions. First is for JCPL. I live in a community which has HOA, and usually the ask is like if there's a issue with the street light, we report it. But for JCPL, the question is like, is there a smart way to report them, because nobody's going to go to the common streets and find the street number, and sometimes that pole number doesn't have the barcode or something. It's very difficult to find those and then report it. So is there a smart way to report it? Like, can the HOA directly tell the JCPL, or how do you report that? I think that's the main question, because I have lights on my Morning Glory Drive which have been like out about a year and nobody's reports it. So I'm not going to go to every street light and say report it, right? So is there a best way to do it? That's question for JCPL. There is one hazard which I see opposite to Butcher, like when I'm driving on the Butcher Road, when I'm coming out of Jessica, what happens is when I'm taking a left turn there is there is a small manhole, I guess, and the road is not in the center, right? It's uneven. So what happens, the vehicles are going off the curb and you cannot see them when I'm taking a left turn. So maybe the township can just go and check this out, because it's kind of a hazard at this moment. It's on, like when you're coming from Route 33 towards Jessica Drive, when I'm taking a left from Jessica to Butcher, right? I think that's where it is. So if we can check that out, it will be helpful. Right? And one last was like, sometime I go to drop my daughter at the high school. I mean, it's just something I just requesting. There's no right left turn on when we're on Pennville, so we kind of go to Townsend Park and take a U from there on like Fire Drive on Townsend Park. But the road is not clean. I understand that like now is not a good time, but then sometimes the road is like very much with snow, and then the vehicles are taking a U-turn. It's kind of hazard. So I don't know how to report this. Like, should I report it to the school board, or what's the best way to report them so that that area gets cleaned, so at least the vehicles can take a U-turn when they're coming back?
Council President, if I can just ask, You're saying when you come out of the high school parking lot onto
Yeah.
Prineville Road?
And then I go, because there's no left turn, right?
Right, there's
so
no
I,
left turn.
I usually go to the Thompson Park on Fur Drive and take a U. But then not now, but like I've seen last year, like there was some time, like a lot of ice there, nobody cleans it. It's like for the vehicles, right? It's all like very difficult for like.
Fern Drive is county, that's maintained by the county and the county park.
So we ought to complain to them.
Yes. So we can take a look at it and reach out to the county if there's some icing issues on Fern Drive. That's not a problem.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jola Maloney. I'm from the Watershed Institute. I just wanted to take the time to thank Monroe Township for their participation in the working group meeting last Thursday. And the Watershed Institute is also more than happy to sit down with anyone from Monroe to further discuss the Upper Millstone regional approach if any additional information or clarification is needed. We also just wanted to remind Monroe that the deadline for moving forward with the Upper Millstone is rapidly approaching. This is not to rush Monroe, but we do need to know whether Monroe and other municipalities will be participating, as we would like to give the consultant as much time as possible to prepare the plan. And I'm also here to extend the invitation to our regional conference that is happening later this February 26th and 27th. 26th will be held virtually, and 27th is in a hybrid format, so it will be virtually and in person at the College of New Jersey. There will be sessions on the Watershed Improvement Plan, as well as guidance on the Watershed Assessment Report, which is Phase 2 of the Watershed Improvement Plan. There will also be sessions on green infrastructure and stormwater utilities.
Council President, I can just ask one thing. Jolene, there were some documents sent after our meeting last week, and my email was left out of it. So if you can just make sure my email is attached for these upcoming meetings, so that
Yes,
we don't
as
mess
soon as
up.
I realized you weren't a part of the email list, I added your email as soon as possible.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Shell Arminio, 9 Nathaniel Street. As a concerned citizen and member of the public who's always been interested in the water issues in Monroe and in the county and in the state, I would highly recommend that we do something with the Millstone watershed and get involved in that and save our potable water with all the building and everything that's happening. We're going to need to have very clean potable water. So please get involved with these environmental issues. It's very important to the future of Monroe. I have a question going back to Council President, the discussion about the 4 sites where the 4 new sites about the affordable housing. My question is, of those sites that were just voted on, what is the total build out for those 4 projects in terms of units?
Council President, sorry, I'm trying to do the math in my head because I don't have it in front of me. You've got, maybe Mark can help me. You've got 100 plus 67, which is 167. I'm not that terrible at this. Keep going. We have 30 at the Meadowview. So what does that get me to 207? Thank you. And then 186 at the old Bald Eagle site. I'm just not going to do it because I can't do it. I'm sorry.
Okay, Council President, is that the count of the total build out, or is that just the affordable housing units?
Sorry, that's the total build out.
And so how many of those are affordable?
So at the 100 unit site, 22 of those are affordable. At the 67 unit site, 20 are affordable. At the 100% municipally sponsored site, all 30 are affordable, obviously. And at the 186 unit site, 37 are affordable.
And when are those supposed to be now? I know the last round was supposed to be done by 2025. when is this round supposed to be complete? I know you haven't completed it. But
It's not a question of complete. We just had an obligation in the third round to rezone, so we rezoned. The fourth round lasts for 10 years. It goes into June of 2035.
Okay, I would also like to say that the affordable housing, and what we keep hearing is how much affordable housing we need in the state and in the area. I would still like us to make sure we get these people in their affordable housing. The market rates are selling like crazy and the developers are getting very wealthy. We need to protect the people. The whole point and intent of this affordable housing and fair share housing is to put people in in this housing that really need it, not the ones only at the market rate. So again, I would encourage this body to make sure that we are supplying the proper amount of affordable housing to people who really need it, and the rest will come. So, the market rate is doing very well, I'm sure. And now I'm going to say something even more controversial than I usually say. We've heard how wonderful everybody was in this last snow event. So I would like, as a taxpayer, I would like for consideration to propose like a pilot program to give a day off, a paid day off for all the workers who took care of Monroe Township. Somehow we can do parameters, talk to the unions or whatever, and find parameters regarding emergency weather events. I'm not saying every time, but if we can put together parameters for that kind of thing. We value the people who take care of us. Everybody's talking about how wonderful they are. Let's give them a day off. You might have to, not everybody can take the same day off, but do something where we can really show when we have weather events like this, they're infrequent, and maybe we can take care of the people who take care of us and say thank you and give them a day off and work something out in this administration. I appreciate everything they do. I think we should show that. And I know they get overtime and they get paid and all that, but it's when they do exceptional work like this, I think we should give them an exceptional thank you and a paid day off and just work it out. But I thank everybody in my community who takes good care of me. So thank you. Let's do something like that.
Thank you.
Not you, Mr. Razumowitz.
Thanks.
Thank you. JCP&L.
Yeah, you want to close the public portion?
Yes. May I have a motion to close public forum, please? Second.
Second.
Thank you. And we'll have our JCP&L reps, if you want to answer a few of the questions for us, please.
Thank you so much for these important questions. So I want to start with the generation increase. There are 3 sections of your electric bill. There is the distribution component, which is us. There's the transmission component, which is the cost of utilizing the wires to transmit from generator facility to the distribution system through our substations. And then there's the generation cost. The generation cost makes up approximately 60% of your bill, and that is a pass-through. A good analogy, especially for this crowd, would be school board taxes. You pay those taxes through your municipal tax, as well as county tax, through your municipal tax. However, no one sitting up here is responsible for those county taxes or for those school board taxes. You're simply paying them as a pass-through with no markup that then goes on to the school board and to the county. That's exactly what's happening with the BGS increase. Yes, you pay that through our bill because our bills are coupled, but JCP&L does not own any generation. We are a fully regulated utility. In 1996, the state of New Jersey passed EDECA, the Electric Discount and Energy Competition Act, which deregulated generation. We are a regulated utility, so we are not benefiting in no form or fashion. In fact, it's quite the opposite because everyone believes that it is us that is suddenly jacking these rates up. There is a supply and demand imbalance across the United States of America, especially in the PJM footprint, which New Jersey is a part of PJM. That is the grid operator, the regional transmission operator for 14 states and Washington, D.C. in this area. They forecast and hold auctions. Again, this is an unregulated market. Those markets, those auctions rather, are held, and then the Board of Public Utilities here in New Jersey need to authorize those auctions, meaning they're not really approving anything other than the results of the auction are consistent with current market conditions and trends. So to your point earlier, or excuse me, the gentleman's point earlier regarding data centers, we agree. That's our company's position. Data centers in our territory, we want to see them bring their own generation because we don't want to see our customers' bills going up for a piece that is market driven. If your bills are going to go up, I want it to be because we're investing in reliability. We're investing in making your lives better and brighter through keeping your power on, keeping your streetlights on, so on and so forth. So agree with you, but again, that is not our portion of the bill. We did not have a rate increase. Each and every time that we go in for a rate increase, it is a completely transparent process. We go to the Board of Public Utilities. There are many public hearing, a lot of discovery. There is intervener participation, meaning that anyone who wants to can have a seat at that table. There's also a position in New Jersey government called New Jersey Rate Council. It sort of operates within the confines of the Attorney General's office, but also not really. It's a position that's there to look out for all of us, all of our ratepayers, to make sure that utilities aren't making money in unfair ways, and they always have a seat. I can't remember, I've only worked at this company for 12 years, but I can't remember a single time where we've had a rate case approval. It's always a settlement between Rate Council, the Board of Public Utilities, and the company. It's a very fair and transparent process. So again, not trying to, redirect blame or anything like that, but we are not making any money whatsoever off of the base generation increase. So that was item one. The next was the streetlight solar, which I believe it's PSE&G that you might see that on their polls. It is not, in fact, feeding the streetlight. That is part of a very, very old regulatory program, in which PSE&G, I want to say it was in 2009, PSE&G got approval for Solar for All program, sort of a pilot of community solar. It didn't stop at just the poles, if I recall correctly. There were some rooftop solar and things of that nature. All of the utilities have tariffs on file with the Board of Public Utilities. Each of our tariffs are a little bit different. Our company cannot offer our customers anything that's not in the approved tariff. So for that example, we don't have anything in our tariff that allows us to install solar for all. So we can't do that. But again, that solar panel was not, in fact, feeding the streetlights anyway. That's just where they chose to put it. And then lastly, sir, you had a question on reporting of streetlights. There are many different ways. You can always call it in. You can go on our website, and on that landing page or home page, you'll see a toggle for report an outage. There's also a toggle for report a streetlight. That'll take you to the next page where you'll be asked for some basic information, your name, then the address of where, or the closest address to the streetlight. If you're unable to provide the closest address to the streetlight, once you get past that page, it takes you to the second section of the form where there are multiple different ways to report. There is an optional area for you to add cross streets. You could give us the two closest cross streets. And there is also a note section that I believe allows 500 characters. I'll have to double check that. 500 characters is a lot. So, you can put in there, and we encourage our customers to put in there as great of a description as you can, because when our line trucks are rolling out there, that those notes are very, very helpful. Additionally, Facebook is another avenue. If you go onto JCP&L's Facebook page, you'll encounter another button to either report an outage or report streetlights. So there are many different ways, and it's not only, we always prefer the poll number, but we know that you can't always get the poll number. The poll number will match up with our GIS mapping system, and we know that's exactly where we go. But we know that's not always feasible, and that's why we give so many other options for you to provide identifying information. I'll catch up with you after the meeting.
After the meeting.
and speak.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Cool. Thank you. Appreciate the time.
Thank you. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? A second, please. Thank you. Time, please.
We're adjourned. The time is 8:40.
Thank you.